Who's the best player in the country?
To the media or me?
As you see it.
I feel like I'm the best player in the country.
Okay, who's the second best player in the country?
Who?
Sorry, young lady. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody would be watching the WNBA. Additionally, for you, this is all about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is bringing the money to the game, the planes to the game, the TV viewership. The WNBA is on fire because of Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese just made her WNBA Preseason debut, but barely anyone tuned in. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark drew huge viewership, setting records like she was in the finals. So what happened? Reese went from the spotlight to silence almost overnight. Was it just bad timing, or did people change the channel? Whatever the reason, this preseason game quietly became one of the most overlooked debuts in recent memory. Hardly anyone watched, but it sure got people talking afterward.
Wait a minute. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I thought Angel Reese was responsible for elevating the WNBA dump. I thought Angel Reese was responsible for taking the dump and turning it into an unmonetizable turd. Now, to her credit, it is a nicely polished turd. It almost looks appealing. Almost. Of course, it's still not appealing enough to generate profit, but I guess the WNBA is taking baby steps. I mean, what's one more year of multi-million-dollar losses?
Angel Reese stepped onto the court for her WNBA Preseason debut full of confidence, ready to shine. But instead of big crowds and big numbers, the TV ratings barely moved. The college star who once ruled the headlines had a quiet start in the pros, and the audience just didn't show up. For someone used to the spotlight, this debut didn't exactly make waves.
We have the Wendy's 4-for-4 meal. I could get chicken nuggets, a junior bacon cheeseburger, value fries, and a drink, Sprite preferably if they don't have root beer. And I can get all that for more than what it would cost to get to a Chicago Sky vs Minnesota Lynx. This is crazy.
Let's be honest. Angel Reese came into her debut looking like she was ready for the spotlight, but the response was crickets. If TV ratings had a bottom, hers went straight through it. It was that low. To put it in perspective, more people probably watched a video on how to fold laundry. The interest just wasn't there. Even the guy who tracks the ratings might have looked at the numbers and said, "I'll pass."
I would not be talking about the Fever's attendance figures when it had been widely known Caitlin Clark was not going to play in that Fever game on Friday.
To be fair, Reese entered the WNBA like she was ready to take it by storm. Big name from college, bold personality, and enough trash talk to rival a reality show reunion. But when it came time for the cameras to roll, viewers seemed to check out. We're not just talking low ratings. This was the kind of turnout that makes you wonder if the game even aired at all.
Folks, it's over. Or it's close to it. If it's not over, it's close to it. I'm at that point where I think we are at a point of no return. I think we have hit a level where there are problems and they are starting to punch you right in the face.
Meanwhile, in another part of the country, Caitlin Clark was putting on a show. The Indiana Fever could have played their preseason game on the moon and still drawn a crowd. Clark was racking up big numbers, not just on the court, but in TV ratings too. While she had fans tuning in everywhere, Angel Reese was probably checking her phone, wondering why even her relatives missed the game.
I would personally say hands down Caitlin Clark is the best player to come through the WNBA. Hands down, not based on white privilege. I think based on her full athletic talent and the position that she's playing in the WNBA.
The difference was clear. Caitlin Clark played like she had something to prove. Angel Reese looked like she expected a trophy just for showing up. Here's the thing, primetime spots aren't handed out for confidence alone. Viewers tune in to see real competition, real effort, and yes, some actual scoring. Reese spent more time posing than putting points on the board. And while fans do enjoy big personalities in sports, there's one catch: you've still got to deliver on the court. Reese came in acting like style could replace stats. But even influencers need a plan B when the Wi-Fi cuts out. The irony? When the ratings tanked, reports say she was furious. Not surprising. When your whole image is built around buzz, silence stings the most. Angel didn't just expect people to watch. She expected cheers, fireworks, maybe even a surprise celebrity shoutout. What she got instead was the sound of no one watching.
You made some comments about Angel Reese.
Yeah.
You called her garbage compared to Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I love black people. Mwah, 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 mwah. But I think sometimes we do play the race card too much. This ain't racial. This is about sports. This is about athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at Caitlin Clark's game, who's very reminiscent of a Steph Curry based on her range and shooting the three, plus everything else she does. And then you look at Angel Reese, stop it. She just seems as uncoordinated as a baby giraffe. If you throw up 85 attempts, you're eventually going to get one or two. But the fact that you have to throw the ball up 85 times is fucking ridiculous.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark showed up, laced up, and let her game speak for itself. No drama, no spotlight chasing, just solid basketball and record-breaking viewership. She played like someone who knows fans tune in to see hoops, not a fashion show with missed shots. That's not to say Angel Reese doesn't have talent. She does. But the kind of hype she brought needs to be backed up by performance. Right now, it feels like people were promised a Beyoncé-level debut and got something more like a rough garage recording. The WNBA likely hoped Reese's presence would boost ratings. Instead, it turned into a lesson in what happens when expectations outpace execution. It was like rolling out a blockbuster film, only to find out the star wasn't ready, and half the audience left before the opening credits were done.
We weren't the only ones chomping at the bits, waiting to watch Caitlin Clark play. It seems like the rest of the country was waiting in suspense along with us. It seems as if the rest of the country was on the edge of their seats, waiting for Fever basketball, and how do I know? Numbers don't.
And it wasn't just the TV ratings. Even on social media, where Angel Reese usually shines, the energy just wasn't there. No trending hashtags, no viral clips, barely a ripple. The buzz was flat, like a soda left open too long. It felt like everyone quietly wondered, did we get this wrong? Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's highlights were everywhere, shared, reposted, and replayed like must-see moments. SportsCenter, ESPN, even people who don't usually watch basketball were paying attention, saying things like, I'm not sure who she is, but she's incredible. That's rare, moving from sports standout to full-on pop culture name. Caitlin's already there. Angel's still trying to make it through the door. And here's the difference in mindset. While Caitlin's in the gym putting in the work, putting up points, and keeping her focus sharp, Angel reportedly didn't take the quiet response well. Word is, when the WNBA shared the viewership stats, she wasn't thrilled, throwing shade, dropping subtle digs online, and acting like fans owed her more. But in sports, it's simple. You've got to earn the spotlight.
I thought Angel Reese was the star of stars, the icon of icons. That's what the mainstream media keeps telling me. Headline at Forbes from last month, how Angel Reese and A'ja Wilson are leading the WNBA's growth.
Just like that, the hype around Bayou Barbie started to fade, and fast. Angel Reese was supposed to lead a new era in the WNBA. Bold, exciting, and full of energy. But instead of dominating the court, she's become an example of what happens when the buzz outweighs the actual performance. The truth? Reese has talent. She could be a solid player, but in pro sports, being decent isn't enough, especially when you're constantly promoting yourself like a superstar. If you want to be the main draw, you have to deliver when it counts. What's frustrating is that fans were ready to root for her. But while Angel talks, Caitlin Clark lets her game do the talking. She keeps winning people over, not because she's loud, but because she's fun to watch. That's what matters most. People want to see greatness, not just hear about it. Meanwhile, the WNBA keeps pushing Reese into the spotlight, hoping the hype will stick. But if the fans aren't feeling it, no amount of PR is going to change that. You can't fake star power when the scoreboard and the audience tell a different story.
You've got a basketball player, you got a celebrity that, or somebody that thinks she's a celebrity, that happens to be a basketball player. All right, but she's not celebrity enough to actually pack in the stands. And guys, there is some ugly numbers here.
Well, of course, some Reese fans will say it's all jealousy or some kind of unfair bias. Sure, that must be it. The whole country just randomly decided to tune out one game for no reason at all. It couldn't possibly be because she looked like she was holding back, or because the game felt flat and dull. No tension, no spark. So naturally, it must be a conspiracy. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out there turning basketball into something special. She earns every bit of attention she gets. This is nothing new in sports. The loudest voices often expect the most praise. But the true greats don't need to shout. Their game speaks for them. Caitlin barely had to say a word, and everyone paid attention. Reese made a scene, and still no one cared. And who could forget the moment she reportedly walked out of a press event after someone brought up the TV ratings? That's the kind of reaction you expect from a diva. If you're earning pro-level pay, you've got to show up like a pro, on the court and in front of the mic. TV ratings aren't personal. They're just feedback broadcast live.
Caitlin Clark herself coming through in 19 minutes of play, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Caitlin Clark doing Caitlin Clark things.
So there's no excuse. Nobody watched that game between the Sky at LSU for Angel Reese's homecoming. Nobody watched.
To be fair, Reese still has time to step up her game, especially if she wants people to tune in for the next one. But if her plan is to get louder instead of better, we're in for another game nobody remembers. And let's be honest, even that squirrel from earlier probably won't be back. Right now, it's Reese. Preseason 0, Caitlin Clark, preseason standout. One got a standing ovation. The other got polite applause and a sad trombone. Fans know what they like, and clearly, they'd rather watch Clark sink threes than see Reese post selfies. It's not personal. It's just how basketball works. Maybe Reese will turn it around. Maybe she'll drop 30 points and grab the spotlight. But she needs to move fast, because Clark isn't slowing down, and there's only so much airtime to go around. In this game, the spotlight isn't guaranteed. You have to earn it every single time.